Hello and welcome. I am Exolite and this is my channel. I had a suggestion to go look at the Georgia time warp situation that's going on, which I found very interesting, and I'm going to get into it in a later video. But I wanted to talk to you about my own experience with the time warp, two to be exact. So the first one is when I was pretty newly married. I lived in Spokane, Washington, and it was the middle of winter, and there was probably 3 feet of snow on the ground. My husband grabbed my keys. He was going to go out to the car and get something and bring it in. He went out to the car, and back in the day, you had to use the key to unlock the door. If some of you are like, I don't get it, why'd you need the key? No fob, no pushing in numbers, no. So he puts the key in, opens the door, grabs what was sitting on the driver's side door, on the driver's side seat, picks it up, shuts the door, locks the lock on my car, and comes back in. And that was the last time we ever saw the keys. Now, we had a place where the keys were put. When you came in, it was habit. Put them there. They weren't there. We looked all over the house. They weren't there. We went outside because it was fresh snow. So we knew that if the keys had dropped, that there'd be a little hole in the snow where the keys had fallen through. Not there. We moved out of that house 2 children later. Moved out, cleaned the place out, had somebody come in and pack everything up and clean the place from top to bottom and put it up for sale. We never found the keys. When the snow went away, there were no keys. We moved to Arizona. One day we were walking out of our house and to a completely new vehicle. And out in the yard of our home in Arizona were the keys that we'd lost somewhere between 3 and 4 years earlier in a home in a different state. All right, here's another one. And this one happened recently. So it's really weird. Now you got to picture this. I live above a mall, an outdoor mall. Picture it being sort of square, okay? And in the middle is a huge open area that's grassy and stuff. So the outside is all a bunch of restaurants, bars, a whole bunch of stores, Lululemon, um, shoe stores, just everything you could need, okay? We call it an island because it's cut off by some water that goes past and a freeway on one side. So we call it the island. So we get into the elevator and we're going to go down. And there's a woman standing in the elevator and she's looking down. And then she looks up and suddenly decides that she's going to leave the elevator. Now, normally this wouldn't have been a big thing, and I probably wouldn't have thought twice about it. But she was wearing this really flashy outfit, big flowers, you know, really pretty. And so I noticed that because, you know, I like the shiny. So I'm like, ooh, pretty flowers. So I noticed that, noticed her. We go down several floors in the elevator and we walk out the front of our building, which I said on either side of the front of that building is shops, food, bars, the whole place surrounded by it. We just live on top of it. So when we come out of the front door, I see her come out of a side fire door. Okay, obviously it's a door. In case there's a fire, you take the stairs down, you leave out that front area through that door. She walks out of that door. And I said to my husband, that was the woman that was in the elevator with us. And he was like, yeah. So we're taking a shortcut. We're going right through the square, the open part. And I see her off to the left of me, far off to the left. She's going into a bookstore. It looks like she's going into a bookstore. And we're walking, like I said, through the middle of this area. There's a lot of people, a lot of kids. There's a big play area for children. And I see her now on a different corner, and she's standing there. She's just looking at us. I said, JD, how did she get there so fast? We are still in the middle of walking through the square, and we're walking at a good pace because I have an appointment for my hair to be done, and we're late. And I go, look, that's the lady from the elevator. And I'm like, is that not weird? And he was not really. He was more concerned about getting me to the appointment on time. We finish walking across the square. Just takes a little while. And as I'm going in to the salon to get my hair done, she walks out and takes a left, my right. I watch her walk. I turn to my husband to say, oh my God, did you see that? That was that woman that like ran out of the elevator. That was her. And we turned to the right within a second, and she was gone. Gone. And there was nothing close enough for her to have gone into. There's a T where two streets meet, and she was on the sidewalk coming up to that T, and then she wasn't there. But when she walked out of the salon, she looked me straight in the face and smiled. And not like a hi, nice to see you, or a friendly, like, complete stranger smile. Like, I know you've seen me smile. And that is my time warp story that happened to me 3 weeks ago. Yeah, 3 weeks ago. And I thought I'd get the ball rolling with telling you those stories. I've never told anyone the key story because I always think, well, even my paranormal stories, anybody who's experienced something paranormal thinks that people are going to think they're kind of nut job, even though so many people have. And when it's unexplainable, you just think, they're really going to think something's up, or that's not true, right? So I never told anybody that key story. So you guys are the first people to ever hear about that story, and the first people to ever hear about this woman who kept popping up out of nowhere. All right, thank you for coming to my channel. Please give this video a thumbs up. Let's get this video seen. Leave a comment. It helps. I can't tell you how much it helps. It is one of the only things that YouTube will recognize to refer my videos to other people. And subscribe. more subscriptions, bigger my channel, the more I am likely to um, be referred to viewers. And they took away my monetization a year ago because I took a break. And so I'm working from the bottom floor to try and get monetized again. So it really helps. Thank you very much. Good night.